We did a special where I brought Richard Hayes, who reviews bizarre direct-to-video and made-for-TV movies from every era, and we were just talking about all the crazy Steven Seagal franchises. Yes, and how, as they get a decision in our minds, that has to be Under Siege free. That's just how the rest of them are just very bad European movies that have some semblance of a plot but can't decide if they want to be Ronin or just, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Can I just say one thing? If they do an Under Siege 3, it should be that the grocery store is closed and he can't get into it.
There you go. We found. When he fights Emeril Lagasse.
Yeah.
Pow!
You so bam. I say boom.
I say boom. I say boom. Yeah. Say whatever you want. You're 12th grade insults. Don't work with me.
And here's something weird about Steven Seagal movies. Have you noticed that the majority of them are 3-word titles?
Oh, exactly. There's got to be kill or destroy or death.
Kill them all. Steven Seagal in. What was it? Under Fire?
Some bullshit like that. And then hire
Fire Down Below.
And then hire an out-of-work Lethal Weapon or Die Hard actor to be a reporter, and then have another direct-to-video star be the villain.
Fire down below, the time when Steven Seagal got the credits.
Fire Down Below out of Seagal's ass.
Fire Down Below, when he found out Kelly LeBrock was cheating on him.
Ooh.
I will say, in closing, I will say this: Steven Seagal's best role to date, Cock Puncher.
Yes, in the Onion movie. Yeah. I will applaud the day he actually plays an actual villain. Is in on the joke. Yeah, I'm a dick from New Jersey, or so I think.
There's a story Rob Schneider told about when he was doing SNL, and he's like supposedly because he's known as the worst SNL host ever. Right?
Yeah. And that's some serious competition when you're going against Paris Hilton. And
so he supposedly he's like, yeah, I'm in inner peace with myself, and that's the thing, to be in inner peace. And one of his PAs comes over and says, Steven, your wife won't be able to drop off your kids this weekend until about maybe 1:15. That fucking bitch better have her got.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like the last sketch he ever did on that show was him busting into a bunch of corporate these guys that weren't even SNL actors, they were just like stuntmen. And he busts in and he beats the crap out of all of them, and everybody in the cast, like Rob Schneider says, he's like, what the fuck? David Spader's like, what the hell is this all about?
I've heard every stuntman has said that he would always make sure to kick them in the nuts just to know they were his property. And it's like, motherfucker, we're not even in a scene with you.
Well, when you want to hear some bullshit, when Brandon Lee died, he went out and became like the spokesman for the family, and Linda Lee was like, Bruce Lee's widow was like, tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You don't work for us. You're not even a martial artist.
You're not a martial artist. You're an asshole.
So I would pay to see that, though. Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes, and Liam Neeson are killing Seagal. And then throw in Hasselhoff as like the.
I don't know who you are. I have particular set of skills.
There you go.
And a certain set of skills.
Lorenzo and Hasselhoff are the weapons providers and dealers. Like, these are what you're going to need.
These weapons work.
And they drown him with cheese puffs or something. A Trey Parker and Matt Stone film. Boom.
I always say this about Steven Seagal. His career is like every high school football player's.
Yes.
He's hot for about 4 years, and the minute he hits college, downhill.
Oh.
Didn't
even break his legs because he has none. His fat fucking body.
Well, you watch that thing where he was the sheriff, like he supposedly said he was the sheriff.
Right, and the policemen are like, they look so unconvinced. And I think one of them said he was paying them to let him beat him up. Just like
it's like Elvis. It's like Elvis when he had the sheriff's, the sheriff's thing. Yeah, I can pull you over. No, you can't pull us over, Elvis. I know who the fuck you are. You smell like bacon and failure. Get the hell out of my sight.
Get out of my sight, Elvis. I think that's it. Just like every other hack comedian thought they were Groucho, every hack action star thinks they're Elvis or Seagal. It's like, no.
Well, can I just say something? Elvis doing karate is Steven Seagal doing karate. It's just.
I don't agree with that.
And I know. The funny thing is,
you ever do a high kick with a rhinestone jumpsuit? I don't think you can, but I did because I'm the kind.
The thing is, I was watching some guy talk about Steven Seagal's martial arts skills, and he said, "You put him with a guy who's like 10th degree Kempo karate, he'll be a stain on the fucking floor." Because they say supposedly Seagal is not that well known.
Yeah,
he's like if it was like Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee, or like some guy like like Sammo Hung or something like that. Yeah, I'm saying even friggin'
I agree. It's funny that just to even compare him on.
He's more William Hung.
Oh,
he's like they said like he literally will get his ass kicked. They said at one point he says like you see him move now. He's gained a lot of weight. There are martial arts masters who are heavier than him that could basically rip him apart, because what they do is their body mass they keep moving. He doesn't move. And I remember seeing him about a couple years ago where he dyed his fucking goatee. Like he had a black marker.
Oh, yeah.
And he drew a goatee on his face to make himself look badass. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, let me think this out. Okay. You have someone like Stephen Chow who did freaking, Shaolin soccer.
Yeah.
And, and I'm like going, and, Donnie Yen and all those guys, they could wipe him off the court. They could be like, boom, 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 and that's it.
Yeah.
He says he's like, he thought he could be Bruce Lee, Steven Seagal. He's more like Vivian Lee. I've seen him fight. He's not that good. His action, his
Chuck Norris had a stroke. Jet Li had arthritis. What's Seagal's excuse?
Chuck Norris had a stroke?
Yeah, like recently.
No, it was actually the stroke had Chuck Norris.
Oh. Yeah.
Walker, Texas Ranger in a walker.
Rascal Scooter, Texas Ranger.
Oh man, we got to do a pull the levers Seagal special.
And for all you Steven Seagal fans out there who listen to this podcast, we apologize profusely.
No, we don't.
Fat ass of Seagal's ass. Oh.
Well, the one thing I got to say about Steven Seagal is I remember that ponytail, and there was a guy I worked with who was a big Steven Seagal fan. He took martial arts lessons because of Steven Seagal, and he had his hair in a ponytail. And I'd look at him and I'd be like, "Do you like Steven Seagal?" He's like, "Yeah, I think he's a great martial artist." And I just like started laughing. I was like, "Dude, you don't even know who do you think's the greatest karate guy of all time?" And he says, what branch or I said, "Greatest guy ever, in your opinion." He says, "Well, Seagal." I said, "No, Bruce Lee."
I was about to say.
Bruce fucking Lee. Bruce fucking Lee could wipe Steven Seagal off the map.
Right.
He can do it now.
He could do it now.
Bruce Lee's been dead for a while.
Bruce Lee's been dead almost 50 years.
Just you wait. He's waiting for Seagal to have a heart attack from the last few bits of sushi burgers he's consumed.
Oh, yeah. And I love how the fact that Seagal now wears those big-ass kimonos.
Yes.
Like he can hide his weight. Steven, you can put flowers on a bucket of shit, but it's still going to be a bucket of shit. I thought that was just a metaphor for KFC.
No. Actually, I thought it was Golden Corral's new slogan.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You've hit rock bottom when you're doing a Golden Corral.
The Steven Seagal special for $17.99.
All the fake sushi and
what's that? It's just a pile of food on a plate, and you see how far you can eat it, and then you got to kick somebody's ass after you eat it.
It's literally mustard on top of a brownie and a crappy shake that looks like shit.
It's a shit.
It's a shit burger, shit shake.
Coming soon, the new Shake and Shake.
Oh, there you go. Shake
a burger.
or die. Shake and Die, starring Steven Seagal. Fuck away my custard sauce in my shake. I'm gonna puke in your mouth and then kill your mother.
They should make a movie called Amber Heard and Steven Seagal called Shit on the Screen, and it's just her shitting on a screen.
Jesus. Oh my God.
And then he just goes, "Whoa, you shit on the screen. You shit on the screen." Yeah, I did.
Produced by Johnny Depp.
Produced by Danny Thomas Productions. There's a glass table. How about Amber Heard shits on a glass table and Steven Seagal's under it, and he says, "Now I know how Danny Thomas felt," and just do that, But to tell you the truth, I mean, Steven Seagal. I went to go see. What was that movie he did?
Was it called The Philanthropist? The Danny Thomas story?
No. Yeah. Whenever I watch a commercial for St. Jude, and I love St. Jude, what they did with the kids and all that shit, all you think of is how many glass coffee tables are in that hospital.
Everyone literally dies at this otherwise feel-good hospital. Maybe Steven Seagal was their doctor before he became an actor.
You walk in, you're picking your kid up. They've gone through all this chemo and stuff, and that's a great thing. But as you walk out, you see a glass coffee table. You're like,
We thought saying elsewhere was fucking weird. Jesus.
We here at St. Jude believe that yeah, okay, how many glass coffee tables you got?
30, and they were all killed by watching Steven Seagal movies.
No, they're all
yeah. No, it wasn't St. Jude, it was St. Pood.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's our sister cousin hospital.
They made that TV show, Make Room for Daddy. They were gonna do another movie called Make Room for Daddy's Glass Coffee Table. And they do Make Room for Granddaddy.
Irwin Allen production. And it just shows the opening credits are stock footage of City on Fire or some other knockoff of Irwin Allen. I couldn't even afford my own explosions for that one. Universal charged too much for Towering Inferno.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie to watch if you're that's like one of the best disaster movies of all time.
Irwin Allen at his best before he just
the worst
to the bank.
Worst is The Swarm.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got competition with that awful 1980 Paul Newman one.
Oh,
Time Ran Out or some shit. Yeah.
I remember that one. That's the last one I think he really did. But The Swarm is the one that basically was like, the end says, "Please do not confuse the African killer bee with the honeybee. The honeybee is nice and kind to us and delivers." It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. But the best part is watching Henry Fonda getting stung to death.
Oh, yes.
He makes that O face.
He had memories of City on Fire.
Yeah.
And a young Nicolas Cage took notes.
Wait.
Oh, yes.
You want to know something? Watch the movie Earthquake, where Lauren Green and Ava Gardner are father and daughter, and Ava Green is like 5 years older than Lauren Green. And Charlton she's like past her prime, because Sinatra probably,
oh, baby. Those mobsters, they do stuff.
Sinatra left his first wife for her.
Yep,
that's right.
Scumbag.
And
love him. He's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Imagine the detective with Steven Seagal. Sinatra.
Lady in Cement.
That's why the lady in cement.
I would pay to see that. Seagal tries a Sinatra songs using his blues band from Louisiana or some shit.
Hey, I saw him do kung fu fighting on SNL, and it was the worst thing ever.
Oh, don't you mean one of his movies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, this is gonna be a train wreck. This is gonna be a fucking train wreck. I'm watching that episode. I'm like, my God, this is a fucking train wreck. This is, you know, I think that's one of the worst episodes they ever had. And like, nobody had anything nice to say.
They don't even re-air it, I don't think, anymore.
No,
I don't think they ever did it re-air it.
Oh, no.
2 or 3 they pulled out of circulation.
Along with, something's bad when it's worse than the 80s season.
Yeah.
85 season.
It's so bad it has a radioactive half-life.
Oh! Warning, danger, Will Robinson.
They won't air the Sinead O'Connor episode with Tim I think Tim Robbins was in that. They don't. Well, they did. They did finally air it. They didn't. They aired the Harry Dean Stanton with the Replacements one, where they said "fuck" on live TV.
They just bleep it.
So what they'll never air is they won't air Milton Berle. It all
comes back to freaking Milton Berle. We can't go one episode without that fucker.
Milton Berle. They won't air Milton Berle. They won't air Steven Seagal. There's a couple they won't. I got to figure out the ones they won't air. The Charles.
I'm sure they don't re-air the Paris Hilton one.
Charles Grodin was one of them. I want to say Andrew Dice Clay was another one.
Oh yeah, that one is burnt and tossed in the fire. I guarantee.
No, they did that, and if you watch the beginning of that episode, they do a bit where he's like going he's like they do it that the It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
And a part where there's an amp and there's a pair of like woman's legs hanging out, and he said, "What's that?" She says, "That's Nora Dunn." And everybody, whoa, because supposedly she was not well liked. From what I well, she pulled the whole, I'm not going to be on the show if he's going to be on it bit. And Laura Michaels said, okay, you can leave now, because, a lot of people didn't realize that was all an act. The whole thing Dice was doing was an act. He's not like that in real life. They didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's just a character that he created.
Well, the other thing is he kind of couldn't snap out of the character. Everyone, all the douchebags in the audience were like, give us more. And he's like, well, Mary had a little...
He did an interview in Arsenio that was really good. He did an interview in Arsenio that was really good, and I think it opened up a lot of people to him. It was like Kinnison, man. Kinnison, he wasn't like that.
Like that. Did you see the recent the Comedy Stores miniseries on Showtime?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, definitely check it out. There's interviews with him, more exploits on Chris Farley and Kinnison, as well as even interviews with people who kind of gave up comedy in favor of acting, like Tim Thomerson.
Yeah. Well, Tim Thomerson was a hilarious comic.
He really is.
He was.
The reason he was on Letterman. He was a badass.
He was so awful. I used to love it when he'd take the beer can and just smash it on his head, and then he'd fall down.
Yeah.
And then he would do this whole bit about what was it, Stagecoach?
Yeah.
He would do like this whole thing with Stagecoach, like he'd do all. He was like Jim Carrey before Jim Carrey hit it big.
I'd call him Jim Carrey meets Michael Winslow. Yeah.
No, Jim Carrey, and it's like Jeff Altman. Jeff Altman was so off the wall, and he was like Robin Williams. He was so crazy.
Yes. Oh man.
Unfortunately, Pink. He said the thing that got me. He's like, yeah, Pink Lady and Jeff came along, and it was like, Jeff who? But
we got friends of the show called Comeuppance Reviews. They do cool chapters of their show, including video store memories, including just how hysterical video stores that actually existed. But I always look forward to one chapter of them when they say shoulda, coulda been an action star, and they'll mention all kinds of people. So there you go. Jim Carrey, John. Oh man,
remember that guy, Jeff Speakman?
Jeff Speakman was great. He recently got
yeah, but
he got interviewed recently on podcast $2 late fee. Totally check it out. That interview, him and Don the Dragon Wilson, totally explained where their career went, and his cancer survival story is very inspirational because he wasn't about praying to a higher God or anything. He was all about just, it's like, I'm in it to get through it. I got this.
But I loved how, who was it? Jeff's this comedian called Jeff Speakman, the Kung Fu Jew. Kick me, don't kick me, you know. But yeah, I remember
kick me at least.
Don the Dragon Wilson. Who else was it? There's so many guys that were like Sasha. What was it? Sasha
Mitchell.
Sasha Mitchell. He was basically thrown. Yeah. So.
Olivia Gruner.
I got to cut out here.
Okay, it's okay. But we just made 2 episodes with this fun Seagal shit talk.
Do that. We just need to do a shit talk show.
Yeah, we should. Part 2.
Shit talking Seagal.
Shit talk. SS. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Signing off. Take it to the bank. The shit bank.
We'll return after these messages.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
We let things pile up in the DVR, we add them to our queues, we wait for the DVDs and Blu-rays. We time shift. The Time Shifters Podcast. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, superheroes, comedy, action, film, television, maybe some not-so-current events. Find us on iTunes or at timeshifterspodcast.com.
Cool thing about Blind Knowledge is we are in multiple countries. We are worldwide all across the globe. We are in the US, we are in the UK, we are in Canada, Germany, India, Japan. We're in Australia, y'all. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to the feature presentation.
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, all things that we love, all manga that were originally published in the legendary magazine Weekly Shonen Jump.
But not every series can run for 300 chapters and have a hit anime. This is David.
This is Jordan.
We're the hosts of Shonen Flop. Each episode we look at manga that ran in Jump that didn't quite make it.
We discuss what it did wrong, what it did right, how the series could have turned itself around, and ultimately, was it a flop or not?
Run all your favorite podcast apps, and you can find us at shonenflop.com.
Keep on flopping, floppers.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up